dating back to the 15th century. In 1937, it became Vatican Radio's new headquarters. An FM antenna rises from the summit of the tower. The antenna itself is 25 meters tall, 70 meters including the height of the tower, and covers the city of Rome with 4 different frequencies. Parabolic antennas for satellite broadcasts and directional logarithmic antennas for shortwave transmissions complete the structure. Pius XI died on February 9, 1939. For the first time in its life, Vatican Radio found itself playing an active role in the communication of events surrounding the Pope's death and funeral, up to the conclave that saw the election of the new Pope, Eugenio Pacelli, who took the name Pius XII. Almost a month of frantic activity culminated with the first-ever radio commentary of a papal coronation. The commentary was done in 9 languages and was described at the time as the biggest event in the history of radio. September 1939, the start of the Second World War. By the time Italy entered the war on June 10, 1940, Vatican Radio was broadcasting in 10 different languages, with daily programs in English, Italian, French, Spanish, and German, and once or twice a week in Portuguese, Polish, Ukrainian, Lithuanian, and Russian. Despite huge political and organizational problems, Vatican Radio never stopped broadcasting throughout the war. Its voice was often the only one capable of offering objective information and words of peace and consolation amidst the violence and confusion, which was why Hitler's propaganda minister, Goebbels, swore to silence it. In response, Pius XII asked the radio to begin what was called a special information service. Between 1940 and 1946, over 1,240,000 messages were broadcast, providing information about the health or whereabouts of families and friends, helping to trace refugees and prisoners of war.
Riccardo, se ne hai, faccele sapere subito. Elena, Mario bene, come tutti noi e i tuoi genitori, comprese sorelle. Firmato la cognata Renata da Genova.
The end of the Second World War marked the beginning of a new mission for Vatican Radio, broadcasting into countries that now found themselves living under communist regimes. 1947 saw the first regular programs in Romanian, Czech, Russian, Slovenian, and Latvian. During the Holy Year of 1950, Vatican Radio began broadcasting programs in 19 different languages. In 1951, it added a 20th, Albanian. At this stage, it was clear that, from a technical point of view, Vatican Radio was fast outgrowing itself. A new transmission site was needed somewhere on the outskirts of Rome, and the Pontifical Germanic-Hungarian College was offering just such a piece of land, 18 kilometers outside the city. And so, following an explicit agreement between the Holy See and Italy, the transmission center of Santa Maria di Galeria came into being. In In 1951, the Italian Parliament voted into law the right of the Holy See, and I quote, to ensure its ability to make radio broadcasts that reach the entire Catholic world, unquote. Pope Pius XII traveled to Santa Maria di Galeria in person to inaugurate the center on October 27, 1957. It was the longest trip of his pontificate. Jesuit Father Antonio Stefanizzi, the Director General at the time, was there to meet him. By now, Vatican Radio was broadcasting in 29 languages. In 1957, a new service was created in Italian dedicated to reporting on the Vatican in particular and on the Church in general. It was called Radio Giornale, the Radio News Bulletin, and quickly became the heart of Vatican Radio's news and information services. Pope Pius XII died in the early hours of the morning on October 9, 1958, at his summer residence of Castel Gandolfo. Vatican Radio was first to give the news. Live radio commentaries followed during the funeral rites and the conclave that ended with the election of Angelo Roncalli on October 28th. Pope John XXIII, as he chose to be called, made abundant use of Vatican Radio.
Questa, figlioli, è la terza benedizione che vi do.
The Second Vatican Council, which opened on October 11, 1962, has been described as one of the most momentous events in the life of the Church. For Vatican Radio, it marked one of the greatest periods of growth and development, technically, professionally, and humanly speaking. During the years of the Council, the radio started broadcasting 368 programs a week in 30 languages to every corner of the earth. To do so, it needed new antennas and more powerful transmitters, which were added to those already at work. It was Pius XII who proclaimed the Archangel Gabriel patron of telecommunications, and therefore of Vatican Radio. And it's Gabriel, the one who announces the good news, who welcomes visitors to the transmission center of Santa Maria di Galeria.